on this guy, I just did just the outline. This one, good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening. Today we got a special build that we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be making the ultimate camping staff slash walking stick slash tomahawk slash sledgehammer slash spear slash knife. Yeah. I'm gonna have to break this up into a couple videos, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. I'm gonna show you guys my design files real quick, and then we're gonna jump right into it. And bam! All right, this is what we're working with right here. Sorry for the phone recording on the computer screen. I used to always hate when people did that. But, whoa, this is a touch screen? What? I had no idea. Anyway, oh, damn. Okay. All right, this is what we're working with. So the idea here, we're gonna have 4 main tools, but the spear is gonna be a double purpose. So this spear is actually gonna serve as a spearhead and a knife. Next, we got this sledgehammer, and that's gonna be used for chopping wood with the axe and other various hammering things you need. And then we got the axe, chopping wood, chopping things, just chopping things, man. Yep. But the cool part about this is that it's all gonna be in one package. And I can't take credit for that because one of my old friends from college actually came up with this idea, and I'm making this for him. So apparently he does a lot of camping, which I didn't really know. He wanted to have me make him something, so he came up with an idea, sent me a couple sketches, and then we've been communicating back and forth for a while. So this is what I showed him, and he was okay. He gave me the go ahead to build. So essentially, we're gonna have, like I said, this all in one package here. So these 3 shafts are gonna be integrated into this one long shaft, as you can see down here. For the spearhead, I got this 1/4-inch plate of carbon steel. This is pretty soft stuff. You usually don't make, knives or spearheads out of this, but first time doing it, gonna make it out of the softest material I can. But you never wanna go all out doing the prototype. Next up, for the couplings and threaded pieces, we got this 1-inch carbon shaft. And for the tomahawk, we got this plate of 5/8 carbon steel. Gonna try to cut this out on the CNC plasma cutter, and we're gonna see how that goes. And finally, we got this big old hunker here. Yeah, dude, I should just take this. I gotta weigh these things. This gotta be like 60 pounds here. But this is a 2 1/4 polished and ground shaft. This is what I'm gonna turn down for the hammer. Let's go. Go. I believe it got all the way through. Yes. And there we have it. One super rough tomahawk head and one decently shaped spearhead. All right, guys, it is now day number 2, 2.5, 3, and I'm gonna be putting the bevels because I'm gonna try and make a little jig. See those little bevels right there? Those are exactly 65-degree bevels. I'm gonna try and make my own. Here goes nothing. It's now the next day and my phone died last night, so this is the progress I made so far. In my original design, it didn't have this, I don't know what you call this, but this groove in the center here. I just kind of added that in as I was working on it. It made it look kind of cool. What I'm going to try to do is cut out another piece. Basically start over with this piece. I'm going to try to create another jig, a better one. I actually looked up a video on YouTube, and some guy showed me how to make one for really cheap, easy out of angle iron. And I got two pointy things. So I'm going to cut out the first one, and I'm going to make that jig, attempt to make it again. Alright, so this is the jig here. I actually didn't make this. I found this over on the shelf. It looks like someone previously, obviously, I already made this. But this is basically the same thing I was going to make, just without this curve here. Come here. Look at this. So what this allows me to do is to adjust this screw here. And right now I have it set to about 65 degrees. I used the other piece as a template to kind of line up where I wanted it. And that's about there. So that it's set, the nuts tighten down. And then allows me to take my piece now, align that up to where about I want it. And probably there. And all I do is clamp that down, and now I have the ability to slide this back and forth at that angle. So I gotta come in here and now I should have a perfect 65-degree bevel. Way more stable than the other one I tried to make. So all I did there is mark out where I wanted the bevel to stop, so I try to make the bevel as even as I can on both sides. Alright, there we have it. This is much cleaner, crispier than that other one. I dug in a little deep on this bevel here, but it's hardly noticeable. You got even bevels on both sides. The camera's having trouble focusing because it's so shiny. Compared to this guy. I mean, I think this one looks a little cooler because it's dug out there. But if you look at the bevels, so much nicer. And I actually forgot that my buddy didn't want. He's also going to be using this as a knife. So what I'm doing is I'm taking like a 1-inch piece of round, and I'm going to cut a 1/4-inch gap in it, and then slide that over the top and weld it. So if he's going to be using this as a knife and, like, I don't know, whittling or trying to cut something, he doesn't want to slide up and cut his hand. So I'm not going to sharpen these edges. Just going to leave them how they are. Maybe round them off a little bit, but that's about it. Yeah. Got this 1-inch shaft here. We're going to cut down 2 pieces at 6.5 inches each for the spearheads and or the knives, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cut a 1/4-inch gap straight down the middle of this. Okay, scratch that. We're not doing that here. That blade is super dull. So I'm gonna go maybe do with an angle grinder, I guess. So to cut this out, down the center here, I'm gonna use the angle grinder to cut that out and see what's next. Okay, so I talked to a couple other people and they'd agree. My stool is slowly going down. Am I really that fat? and they all agreed that they liked this bevel in here. So I'm gonna put that in the good side. So all I'm gonna do here is set the caliper or whatever, and I'm just gonna score the outside of it here, both sides, and then that's gonna give me a nice guide to the same thing over here. You can see those score marks. Yeah. And I'm just gonna come in and round that as best I can by hand at the bottom. So let's get started. Alright, so the last thing I did today was put these little grooves on here. I made this one just a little different than this guy. This, I don't know, I say this on every video, but it's getting to be more difficult than I imagined. Yeah. So I took about probably 3 or 4 hours. I was trying to figure out how to cut this gap down the center here, and try to make it as even as possible. That's where the spearhead is gonna go. And I'm gonna bevel out the sides. But first I tried taking the bandsaw to it. Bandsaw wasn't sharp enough. Couldn't use that. Then I tried drilling out like 2 holes right next to each other and then cutting the rest out with the angle grinder. First, I tried to use the angle grinder as you guys saw, and I could have got it, but I would have been sitting there for like 3 days trying to cut through all that. Finally, I just pulled the plasma cutter out and tried to cut out as straight line as possible, and then slowly widened it, and then went back in there and finished it off with the grinding wheel. But I'm not liking that, so what I'm gonna try and do is learn how to use the mill, and well, eventually I'm gonna have to end up learning how to use the lathe if I wanna drill these holes center. But I'm gonna try to take the 1/4 inch end mill here and then just swipe back and forth, flip it up on the other side, and then swipe back and forth again. I don't know what other way to do it, but I really wanted to finish at least this part before I release the next video, but it looks like, I don't know, it's Saturday night, and this just took me way too long, so this is gonna have to be the end of the video here. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment down what I could do better. Give me some tips, man.